Good evening, everyone. After at least 19 years of molesting children, Bernardo Sanchez is behind bars tonight, facing a minimum of 10 years. But some locals are saying that sentence is not long enough.
Today, Local News 8's Christy Kircher met with Sanchez's first victim of 19 years ago, April Brown. She joins us now with her story. Christy.
Jane, Carol, at only 6 years of age, April Brown was molested and then raped by Sanchez while he was babysitting her. April Brown says every day has been a struggle since, and Sanchez left scars that will last a lifetime. Having not been much older than her youngest daughter, April Brown says her innocence and childhood was taken from her in an act of selfish vulgarity.
After 6 years old, I stopped being a kid, and I was forced to deal with adult emotions and adult problems that I didn't understand. It destroys people. I was suicidal for many years, even as a little kid, 7, 8 years old, and I was suicidal. No child that young should feel that way.
Brown was Bernardo Sanchez's first victim. He babysat for the young girl and her brother for 3 months. During that time, he molested Brown repeatedly, then ended that act and began another.
She kind of pointed to what was happening to her on these dolls, and the truth all came out all the way, because she showed on these dolls what Bernardo did to her. And it wasn't just molesting, he did rape her. We went from there to the hospital ER, and I had to hold her down on a table while they did a pelvic exam on her. And discovered, she's screaming, "Mommy, Mommy, why are you letting them hurt me?" They did a pelvic exam and discovered she had chlamydia.
Fortunately, the disease could be cured, but for Brown, the emotional anxiety and stress lasts for years to come.
As I got older, I got into drugs and alcohol. I was self-destructive. I would cut myself. I hated school because I just felt different. I completely felt like nobody understood what I was going through and that I was different than everybody else.
Brown finally cleaned up at the age of 17 when she became pregnant with her firstborn, but fell back into drugs shortly after giving birth. Just recently, have her addictions been gone for good, thanks to realizing who she is and what lies beneath her addictions.
That should be where the death penalty is enforced. I really do, because they cannot be cured, or they do need to spend their life in prison or contained in a facility where they're not going to be around kids. I mean, sure, there's probation, but look what probation has done, and parole. Probation and parole hasn't done anything for the sex offenders. You can't watch them 24 hours. You can't watch them 24 hours a day. They still reoffend. They still get away.
April Brown and her family moved to Boise shortly after the molestation and rape occurred. However, since she's been back for the last 5 years, she's bumped into Sanchez 3 times. In the newsroom, I'm Christy Kircher for KIFI, Local News 8.
Thanks, Christy. And for those who have been molested, Brown says it's best just to put the shame behind you and get everything out in the open. That way more will be done than putting an end to the awful crimes.